and thank you for joining me. I do apologize for not doing a video at all last week. I kept trying to find time, but I was literally putting in 20-hour days for the last 7 days. Very sleep deprived. The only thing I'm running on is caffeine pretty much at the moment. So I'm sure there's some of you out there that been in my situation before. But a couple of things I want to get to. One is on the cargo theft crisis. Before I do that, I've got a shout out and an update for you. First shout out, Luther Binford, truck driver from Mesilla Valley Transportation, or MVT, recently celebrated his 91st birthday, and he's still running 600 to 700 miles per day. Right? That's quite an accomplishment. May end up in the Guinness Book of World Records. So big shout out to Luther for, that's incredible. I can't even imagine, 91 years old. So that's really something. So happy birthday, Luther. Next thing up, update for those of you that may remember this guy. He was the guy that, hell yeah, I double broker. I probably double brokered a load to you. You remember him, the TikTok guy? He's in a bit of trouble, right? The infamous TikTok double broker and government enforcement known as G-Face. His real name is Yuri. I don't know if I want to even try to pronounce that last name because I'm going to slaughter it anyway. Kachikian. I hope I got at least somewhat close to that. Has reportedly been in custody since May of 2024. The Armenian American from Los Angeles gained notoriety for posting controversial and, to many in the logistics industry, hilarious videos about starting trucking companies and double brokering. In a 2023 video, he openly admitted that, I double broker, now court records show he was arraigned on April 11th of 2024 on charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and engaging in a monetary transaction in property derived from unlawful activity. The charges stem from a fraudulent SBA and PPP loans totaling $310,000. Prosecutors called him a flight risk and a danger to the community, leading the judge to deny his bond. And apparently he's been a government informant for the Mexican Mafia, against the Mexican Mafia since 2005, right? Crime doesn't pay, people. It doesn't pay. And that's kind of the gist of this whole video, in regards to the cargo theft, illegal double brokering and things. So I guess without any further ado, we'll get into it. Again, don't forget to check out my links and descriptions down below for my recommended tools and services. If you're needing DAT, if you want to get eCarrierCheck, right? Great resource to source shippers, build carrier connections, vet carriers, whole 9 yards. Nate and Jared, great guys over there. Don't forget to check out their YouTube channel. Operfi, if you need factoring. Again, hands down, most transparent factoring company out there. And don't forget to check out Danny's channel, Haul and Cash. A lot of really great information over there in regards to, he talks about stuff like recourse versus, non-recourse, who does it work for? How does it work? All of these types of things, right? And there's little hidden things in other factoring companies' agreements that kind of get you trapped. So again, all it takes is a second to fill out the contact form, talk to them, see if they're the right fit for you, right? So, but really great people over there. So let me get back to my notes here. Okay. Cargo theft and crisis. This has been something I've talked about from time to time, and a lot of brokers, carriers have been victims of this, right? I can talk today. Again, running on very little sleep for the last week. Cargo theft is a $35 billion crisis that's crippling supply chains, right? Draining profits and driving up consumer prices. Recently, at a congressional hearing, trucking, logistics, and rail industry leaders laid out basically a crushing reality. Cargo theft is skyrocketing, enforcement is lagging, and criminals are getting bolder, right, as they do with lagging enforcement. Adam Blanchard, CEO of Tanager Logistics, testified before Congress, and his San Antonio-based trucking and brokerage firm, founded in 2014, operate about 90 trucks, employing truck drivers and over 20 freight brokers nationwide. His brokerage, as an example, became the victim of an elaborate identity theft scam that drained resources and also blacklisted his company from factoring firms, right? Posing as Tanager Logistics, the criminals brokered loads to unsuspecting motor carriers who delivered the cargo while the scammers pocketed the money, right? They diverted a full truckload of energy drinks worth six figures from Texas to California. As a quick side note, I know that there's some carriers out there that are not a fan of highway, right? And there's some of you out there that, highway only protects the brokers. Well, that's just simply not the case, at least not in my mind. Because for every carrier that I'm able to stop that has, reports of double brokering or things look shady, right? From what we see, because it kind of gives us a lot more of a transparent look at a carrier versus just relying on something like RMIS or the FMCSA. You really don't get a good view of who you're planning to do work with, and if they end up you give the load to them, they double broker the load to an unsuspecting carrier, right? They get double brokered and not get paid, right? So I feel like everything that we can do on our part as brokers to help combat that is potentially one less carrier each time that doesn't end up getting double brokered and lost revenue. In addition to the identity theft, it's a lot of this is, we did extensive training within our company. It was almost mind-numbingly long, but don't click on emails, don't click on links without verifying that it's right. I know that this industry is very fast-paced, and it's easy to just go, oh, and then click something because it looks urgent or something. Watch those emails. If you're a brokerage owner, make sure your agents are aware of this, right? Because that's how they get in and access your system and steal your identity, or at least that's one way. So take your cybersecurity very, very be very strict about it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that you don't fall victim to identity theft, right? And end up potentially losing your business, right? And protect the carriers out there. Despite clear evidence, Blanchard said the FMCSA refused to remove the fraudulent company's name from its system, leaving his business vulnerable and costing them customers, right? And especially with kind of the way the industry is right now, that's like a death sentence. At this very moment, 2 Tanger Logistics are listed on the FMCSA official website. My company and an imposter, we provided this evidence to the FMCSA, but they refused to take it down. Record-breaking theft, sophisticated criminals. Cargo theft has evolved from simple truck hijackings to complex cyber scams, right? Double brokering fraud, identity theft, that type of thing. As I mentioned, a moment ago, in 2024, 65,000 reported cases, right, marked a 40% jump from the previous year, and losses are only climbing. Okay. Robert Howell, Chief Supply Chain Officer at Academy Sports and Outdoors, testified that criminals are exploiting online systems to intercept shipments and reroute them before anyone realizes what's happening, right? And going on to say that in his 25 years in supply chain, never seen cargo theft this prevalent, right? Academy Sports and Outdoors recently lost an entire shipment of private label swimwear just before peak season, right? As we're kind of, thank goodness, as I look out the window for a quick moment, getting into spring, right? So there's going to be a lot of you're going to start to see that all the stuff hit the stores there, forcing the company to scramble to reposition products across its network, adding costs and delays, right? Basically what Congress is being asked to do is, leaders are demanding serious action, including a federal supply chain crime coordination center and cargo theft task force, right? So this is something, once again, the FMCSA has lagged on, follow through. They're always, it seems like, way behind. Tougher penalties for cargo theft and fraud. Absolutely. Modernizing FMCSA's carrier verification process to prevent fraudulent brokers and scammers, right? Dedicated federal funding for prosecutors to go after organized cargo theft rings. That would be something, make the consequences, hit them harder, right? And do whatever they can do to help stop them in their tracks before they're able to, proceed with their wrongdoings. Will Johnson, the chief special agent at BNSF Railway, emphasized the lack of coordination between states as a key problem. Strategic cargo theft in the trucking industry has increased 1,500% from 2022 to 2025 and accounts for 33% of all cargo theft reported by CargoNet, right? Cargo theft cases often cross multiple state lines, making jurisdictional coordination, prosecution, and data collection extremely difficult, right? This problem is affecting every layer of the supply chain. More theft means higher costs for insurance, tighter capacity, and price hikes for consumers, right? OOIDA EVP Louis Pug, is that right? And I apologize, Louis, if I mispronounced your last name. Made it clear for small trucking businesses, one cargo theft could mean shutting down for good, and that he's absolutely correct. Going on to say, since I began my testimony, a small business trucker has likely fallen prey to fraud that could jeopardize their entire business. And this is so true. In the last year alone, I've talked to numerous owner-operators, small fleet owners, those running maybe 3 to 5 trucks that got double brokered, right? And trying to track it down who it is, come to find out that once, as stated in this, report, that the brokerage was the victim of identity theft, right? Or, and there was just loads being posted and things, or they got double brokered because they didn't vet their carrier A properly. right? They're relying on things like RMIS or something, which basically just kind of verifies, their insurance and stuff, but it doesn't say whether they're, a bad actor or not. This is basically, or this isn't the first plea to Congress. Last year there was other demands for action. Okay, so basically the big question now is will Congress step up enforcement, or will cargo thieves continue to run rampant? What are your thoughts on this? Anything else that you think that maybe the FMCSA could do, or Congress can do to, to prevent, a lot of this fraudulent activity, right? I've talked about this over the last couple of years and how bad it is, because I truly hate getting those emails, those messages on Facebook, somebody maybe from our group, or phone calls, from someone who got taken advantage of, right? Somebody that got defrauded. It's not good. Among all the other things that we face in this industry, cargo theft is just, kind of one more chink at us. And so if you're a brokerage owner, I highly suggest you invest in something like Highway, right? If maybe not Highway, something a little bit better than relying on, like I said, one of the just quick onboarding type things. For you carriers, again, if you disagree with me about, by using Highway, it helps potentially protect another unsuspecting carrier from being defrauded, let me know your thoughts, right? That's kind of the way I look at it. I've commented on social media from carriers that had that same idea of, things like Highway, it only protects the broker. And I guess I just don't see it that way, right? If you disagree with me, or maybe can point out how it doesn't potentially protect an unsuspecting carrier, let me know, right? I love reading your guys' comments, and I'll do my best to reply promptly. So with that, I hope everybody has a great week. I will try to get out another video this week as much as humanly possible, but right now we're moving so much freight. It's uncanny. It's, and unfortunately, they've got our team hopping, literally. It's phone calls at 3:30 in the morning, even on the weekends, and it's nonstop. So hopefully I can grab some Z's and get caught up on a little bit of sleep. But anywho, again, as always, be kind to one another, and I look forward to your comments. Till next time, bye-bye now.